Hello, 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 and welcome back to After Hours. My name is Michael Kassman. I'm a direct response copywriter, and I am happy to be your friend in advertising. As I mentioned last time, this show is about um, bringing you the timeless and proven principles of profitable advertising. And what I want to cover today is uh, probably the biggest problem that I have to help my clients fix when it comes to their advertising, their marketing, and that is me branding. And I mean, if you start to look at it, you'll see it everywhere. Basically, what this is that every time a business or somebody who is a guru or an influencer or something like that, anytime they're promoting their product or service or their business, it's always me focused. Like, I'm the business, I'm promoting my services. And when I promote it, I'm telling you about what I think is so great about it. Um, in a book by Victor Schwab, How to Write a Good Advertisement, he talks about how most advertisements basically go like this: Hey, our product is great. Goodbye. And that's about it. That's about all the substance that there is in most advertising. And it's really the case that people are so infatuated by their own brand, their own business, their own excellence, that they can't actually see how blind they are to what their customers want and what their clients want. What you think is important as a business owner, as a business person, what you think is important is not necessarily what your customer or your clients think is important. They might have completely different priorities, and they're certainly going to express it in a different way than you would express it. Um, uh, it's a little harsh, but I love these descriptions. Things like this: Your prospect does not care about you, and they don't care about your product. They don't care about your service. They don't care about anything about you except that you are able to provide them value in some way. Another really incredible copywriter put it even simpler: People don't care about your crap, they care about their crap. Another writer from the early 1900s says, Your prospect doesn't give a damn about you except insofar as you give them value. These are harsh realities and they're uncomfortable. They might seem a little bit cynical, but analyze your own buying habits and see if it's true. If Amazon didn't give you decent products at unbeatable prices and then give you 2-day shipping for free, how much would you like Amazon? If all three of those benefits disappeared, would you still pay them? What is it, like almost $40 a month? I forget how much it is. But you're paying monthly for Amazon Prime. But what if all three of those benefits went away? The products weren't as good, the prices weren't as good, and the shipping was not only not free, it was also slow. So you're paying for shipping and it's slow. Are you going to keep paying for Amazon? Are you going to keep saying, oh, yeah, I love Amazon, it's great? Of course not, because Amazon isn't serving you in ways that you like. And so you drop them like a baby giraffe. It's the same way that we shop for everything. Imagine going to your favorite restaurant. Imagine your ideal dining out scenario. You go in, they treat you well, the service is exceptional. Um, and they serve you your favorite dish and it's cooked to perfection. But imagine that all of that suddenly changed. You go in and you have to sit and wait for 45 minutes. And then they give you a table and the table is dirty. And the food isn't nearly as good as it's been in the past. And the food is more expensive. Are you still going to feel the same way about that business as you did previously? Or are you going to say, okay, this place has gone downhill. I'm not interested in this anymore. And you're going to drop them. You're going to drop them like a baby giraffe because their ability to serve you has gone downhill. And so you retract your desire to engage with them. That is exactly what I mean by your prospects don't care about you unless you serve them in some way, unless you are providing some sort of value. Okay, so keep doing that experiment. Keep thinking about your own buying habits and see if it's not the case that you only are interested in things, in businesses and products or services that somehow bring you value. Now, apply that to your own advertising, your own business, your own products and services. When you go and you promote to somebody, are you telling them what you think is so great? Or are you getting in their shoes, thinking about what they value, what they like most about your business, product, or service, or what they hope to achieve by using your product or service um, to achieve their dreams? Which way are you thinking about your promotion? Odds are, if you go back and look, you're going to find that there are areas where you could improve your own advertising. Okay, so that is the me abomination that I wanted to point out in this particular fireside chat. Now, it gets worse because there is currently a phenomenon that is growing, which is called personality branding. And so, if the me branding that I've already talked about is bad enough, well, personality branding takes it to the next level. Personality branding is basically where instead of having a company that has a brand, you build a brand around an individual that leverages their personality to attract people, to bond with people, and eventually, presumably, to sell things to them. And so this takes all of the problems with me focused branding and only amplifies it because now it's glorifying an individual and their personality. That is not what sales is about. We talked about in the previous episode that advertising is all about creating conversions. It's all about creating sales. And there are various things that you can add to that to make it more effective. One of those things is personality. You can add personality to your advertisements, and that can make them more relatable, more attractive, even more effective. But if you take something that can enhance your advertising and you make it the core focus, you've now created effectively an abomination. It's bound to break because those types of things are trends. They're trends which will come into fashion and then come out of fashion, as opposed to immortal and eternal buying principles, which is what we focus on this show. But for the sake of warning you against this issue, we're going to talk about this personality branding a little bit more. As I said, you can use personality in your advertising as a tool. But if you then take it and you try to glorify it and make it the focus of your advertising, you're going to start running into problems. Because again, nobody cares about you except insofar as you provide them with value. And so if you come at them and say, hey, let's talk about me, let's talk about how quirky I am, let's talk about how cute I am, let's talk about all of my little differences that make me and not the competitor that you could also go to. They're trying to market their service based on things that don't matter, like their personality. It really doesn't matter. Jeff Bezos's personality has um, no determining factor about whether or not you do business with Amazon. Okay. Um, if you call out a plumber, the plumber's personality has no real motivational, no real impetus for you to hire him or not. The question is, can he do the job or not? Can he give you value or not? Can he solve your problem? But because of, I believe, this is my opinion, personality branding was born out of social media. In this age of social media, people have been accustomed to tolerate and accept and then expect that people are going to overshare on social media. They're going to put all sorts of pictures about their life, or they're going to talk about their day. They're going to talk about going to the store and what they experienced and all of these silly little nothings about everybody's day-to-day life. Social media has changed in a way, has superficially changed certain societal norms such that people now expect that and they will use it as entertainment. People will scroll through other people's social media feeds, wasting their own life so that they can read about the nothing events of somebody else's life. That's now normal. And it's so normalized, in fact, that we have social media influencers, people who are making money, making a living by doing just that, by sharing elements of their life that should mean nothing to nobody else. But because everybody else's life is so pointless and meaningless, they now spend their own life reading about unimportant things in somebody else's life. It's very sad. And I call it degraded advertising. If that's the kind of advertising you do, it's degraded advertising. And what does it do? Degrading advertising attracts degraded attention. And that's not something that we should support. Um, we should always support using advertising and business in general to lift people up, to solve problems, to help people, to make their lives better. We should not use our businesses, our products and services, and by extension, our advertising to drag people down or to further degrade what is already in trouble. And so, personality branding is, I think, a total abomination. And if it's effective, it is only effective because of the unfortunate situation that we are in society, which is that people will waste their lives on social media and they don't always do what's best for them. People are on TikTok. TikTok is like terrible. It's a terrible thing in so many different ways for human psychology and the way we're being trained to think and the types of material that people are consuming. It's shortening attention spans. It's hurting people's memory. It's making them more distractible. There's all sorts of downsides to something like TikTok, but by extension, you can apply that to social media. And so to then use a form of advertising like personality branding, which bears enormous resemblance to something like a social media influencer, I think that's a big problem. Because effectively what it does is it makes everything about you. It attracts a tribe, right? And that's not bad in itself. Your advertising should attract your tribe, but you should attract them in such a way that you are going to provide them value that improves their life. If your objective is to use degraded advertising methods to feed on people's lower instincts and basically create a cult of personality, to then use that power and a cult of personality to inspire them to buy this, that, or the other, that is a problem. And sooner or later, that's going to go away. Personality branding I believe, this is my opinion, I think it's going to go away probably in the next 10 to 15 years. It's very popular right now, but I don't think that it's going to be around for very long. And I don't think that it's going to be overly influential. I might be wrong. I hope I'm not, but I might be. That said, I point this out because this is something that you should avoid. Because, like in the previous episode, I talked about conventional advertising. Conventional advertising that doesn't focus on using scientific methods to track effectiveness, to track impact, to track conversions. Me advertising and personality branded advertising is very similar in that way, except that it's even worse because it's totally egocentric, which violates a number of the most core, essential rules of what makes good advertising and what makes advertising that works. And you don't want to get stuck in doing something that maybe works for a short time or that attracts you the wrong type of attention or that makes you into something that you're not happy to be. Um, I personally, this is just me now talking about my personal preferences. I would feel I would feel like I was doing something inappropriate and not quite unethical, but if my primary allure was, "Hey, look at me, look at how great I am. Don't you love my personality? Isn't that why you want to do business with me?" I find that just like borderline unethical. I want people to do business with me because I provide them with incredible value that they can't find anywhere else. Whether they like my personality or not is sort of irrelevant. It would be great if they like my personality. That makes the business arrangement all the better. But in my mind, it's like I would never try to use my personality um, as the main selling point for my product or service. That just seems really low and really unpersuasive. And I wouldn't want to attract people to me who want to do business with me purely because of my personality. I would be very suspect about that. I would wonder if they're even qualified as a prospect. And so you just have to be careful with that. Be careful in your advertising about the me focused branding. Be especially careful of personality branding. Just a quick story. I'm subscribed to dozens and dozens of businesses and copywriters, advertisers, people who should know better. And a number of people that I follow have adopted this personality branding, and they've gone like 100% all in on it. Their whole identity, their whole business is structured around their personality. And I don't understand it. And um, whenever I read what they write, it just hurts. Like it hurts me knowing what I know about advertising and knowing that they also know a great degree of what I know, and then seeing them do those types of things. Um, Writing 500 words, 1,000 words about an adventure they had with their cat. And then, at some point they try to make it about a marketing lesson. And then at the very end, they tell you about the course that they just released and that you should buy their course. You lost me at the beginning when you had a subject line that talked about your cat. Okay. Um, Anybody who's a busy person who respects their time um, isn't going to open that. But let's say that they do open that. They're not going to read 700 words, 1,000 words, 1,500 words about some stupid make believe story that you think is entertaining. And then they're going to buy your course because of that. That's not how it works. And if it is how it works for you, then I would say this. If people buy from you without the right intentions and the right background, what's going to happen is that you're going to have more refunds, more unhappy customers, and um, that's not what you want. You want really satisfied customers. And the only way to do that is to provide exceptional value. That's it, period. End of story. So remember that. You cannot beat the the tried and true eternal principles of communicating value, of focusing on your prospect, focus on their outcomes, their desires, their fears, what they want to gain using your service, your product as a vehicle. But also remember that they don't give a damn about you except that you are providing them with value. And once you have their attention, let's say that you write an ad, you get their attention. They're now reading your advertisement or they're watching your advertisement. You are on you're on a very thin ice with this prospect. Even though they have said yes initially to reading your advertisement, because they weren't expecting your advertisement, because they don't particularly like advertisements, they are looking for a reason to throw you away. You have to be especially careful once you've gotten attention that you keep attention. And it's much harder to keep attention than it is to get it. And so to keep attention, there's a myriad of ways that you can do it. There are dozens of literary devices that you can use to make your ad more entertaining. But the core of it is if you want to keep attention, you have to keep them interested. And to keep them interested, you have to continually um, give them value, tease additional value, give more value. Promise, fulfill the promise. Tease another promise, fulfill the promise. And then you just keep going. You keep going, you keep building value upon value upon value, proof upon proof. And then eventually they will get to the point where they're convinced of the value and they will buy. If you start talking about yourself, they will tune out. If you start talking about something that they don't value, they will tune out. I don't, it's easy to say, it's hard to do. Um, so maybe if you run a business or if you are an advertiser copywriter and you have clients, maybe do an exercise and just take a few samples that you have lying around and start looking through and identifying areas where you're seeing the me phenomenon pop up and rewrite it. Rewrite the ad and try to make it better. Make it more customer focused, not business focused. Make it their desired benefits focused, not product or feature focused. Because what matters most to the prospect is themselves and their loved ones, their family. The more that you can tie those desires to your product, the more engaged they will be and the more likely they will be to convert. Stay away from anything that is egocentric. Stay away from anything that is irrelevant. And I would say feel free to use personality in your advertising. It can be a powerful tool, but do not try to make it the focal point. It's at best, it's a passing fad that is high risk. And at worst, it is an abuse of good advertising tactics and borderline unethical, in my opinion. So that's all for tonight. Sorry it went a little longer than last time, but I hope that you found value from this, and I will talk to you soon.